Jaya Radha Madhava Bhaktivedanta ki Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki Jai Shri Gaur Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakund Radha Kunigiri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki Ganga Maya Yamuna Maya ki Bhaktidev Tulasi Maharaj ki Shri Shri Gauritai ki Shri Shri Radha Vallabh ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maya ki Pranam Sankirtan ki Guru Mahaprabhu Mandir ki Granth Raj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki Gaur Premanandi. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. Reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, chapter entitled Renunciation of Karma-Muni, text number 36. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Etame janma lokesmin
Mumukshunam durasayat. Prasangsayana tattanam samutyaya madarsane
Yetanme janma lokesmin mumukshanam durashaya prasankayanaya tattvanam sammatayatma darshane.
Which is highly esteemed for self-realization by those desiring freedom from the entanglement of unnecessary material desires. Please repeat. My appearance in this world is especially to explain the philosophy of Sankhya. Which is highly esteemed for self-realization. By those desiring freedom from the entanglement of unnecessary material desires. Purport by Swami Prabhupada. Here the word durasaya is very significant. Dura refers to a trouble or a dukkha, a miseries. Asaya means from shelter. We, conditioned soul, have taken birth of the material body, which is full of trouble and miseries. Foolish people cannot understand the situation, and this is called ignorance or illusion, or a spell of Maya. Human society should very seriously understand that the body itself is the source of all visible life. Modern civilization is supposed to be making advancement in scientific knowledge. But what is this scientific knowledge? This is based on bodily comforts only. Without knowledge, that, however comfortable one maintains his body, the body is destructible. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Antavanta ime deha. These bodies are destined to be destroyed. Nitya Sukta Sarirana refers to a living soul or the living spark within the body. The soul is eternal, but the body is not eternal. For our activity, we must have body. Without the body, without the senses, sense organs, there is no activity. But people are not inquiring where it is possible to have an eternal body. Actually, they aspire for an eternal body because even though they engage in sense enjoyment, that sense enjoyment is not eternal. They are therefore in want of something which they can enjoy eternally. But they do not understand how to attain that perfection. The Sankhya philosophy, therefore, as stated here by Kapila Dev, is Tattvanam. The Sankhya philosophy system is designed to afford understanding of the real truth. What is real truth? The real truth is knowledge of how to get out of this material body, which is the source of all trouble. Lord Kapila's incarnation or descent is especially meant for this purpose. That is clearly stated here. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Sri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swami Bhutale Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Siddhartha Kamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavasya Sri Urvama Sarvacharya Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Radha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kantara Kantara Namaste Taptakana Gopi Hare Vrindaveshwari Krishnam Sute Rama Hare Vansa Kalpatarubhyascha Krama Sindhu Vechacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sarvasvati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Prabhupada ki jai. The permission of the devotees, Vaishnavas. Here, we have come to this section of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam here, where Lord Kapila has appeared from the Kadamuni and Devahuti. So, Kadamuni has requested, he knows that Lord Kapila has appeared as a Supreme Personality of Godhead, as his son. So he's requested Lord and took the Lord to a secluded place, and he's praying to the Lord, that is the Supreme Personality, and he's seeking the permission to leave this household life. The title of the chapter is called Renunciation of Gardama Muni. So Gardama Muni is going to leave the household life and then go to the forest. This is to set an example. This is the part of the Varnashram system, that one goes through a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha and sannyas. So he's preparing to just leave this situation. Now this is just, he has prayed to the Lord Kapila, and Lord Kapila is just starting to speak. This is the second verse. Today we are at, the Lord Kapila is speaking. So after this, the Lord will instruct him, and he will take a permission. Kadam will take permission from the Lord, and he will also. Following that, the Lord will instruct his mother in the Sankhya philosophy. So this verse is just now, the Lord is giving one of the reasons why he appears to establish the principle of religion. So first I would like to touch what is Sankhya philosophy. The Sankhya philosophy deals with matter and spirit. So matter, this particular philosophy deals with starting from a very micro level to the macro level of the matter and the spirit. So what is material, what is spiritual, what culminates this whole, the creation, the elements. This is what it deals with. The Sankhya philosophy deals with that, these different aspects. It gives into detail. Sankhya, the word, it means a number. This is a word from Sanskrit, which means number. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's numeric. The Srila Prabhupada translates this word Sankhya as an analytical study. So it analyzes very deep, very micro to micro level. So the philosophy is a section coming out of the Jnana Kanda of the Vedas. There are different sections of Vedas, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, and etc. So this particular philosophy is coming from that section of the Veda, which describes very detailed into the matter and the spirit. So it deals with the elements. There are 24 elements. So starting from the gross level is earth, water, fire, air, ether. There are 5 elements of the gross. As you can see, this is part of the earth. Whatever you see, which is substantial, which is hard, which is part of the earth. Then next comes a water. Even our body is made of these elements, gross elements. You see, this is a liquid there. I was teaching my son the other day. There was a science chapter where there's about 70% of the body consists of water. If you take the water out of the body, there's only 30% of the actual hard substance, bones, dry. So this earth, water, and then the fire. Fire, which we have, it maintains the heat in the body. There is a fire present in our body. Fire also helps us to digest our food we're taking in. And then there's air. As described, there's 5 types of air present in our body. One is prana. Prana is the most important part of the air. It's very subtle. Prana is particularly placed in the heart, where the soul actually is floating within that prana air. So, as we can see also in Hindi or India, it says pran chale gaye, means that the life is gone. So, what is actually happening is that the air, the prana, is where the soul is residing, and has gone out of the body. That's one type of air. The second type is apana. That air that actually helps to float, air goes downwards. That is called apana. There's another one is called, third one is called Vyana. which shrinks and expands. That is called abhyana. The fourth one is samana. That keeps the body in equilibrium, which keeps the body into a balance. And the fifth one is udana, that's air that flows upwards. So there are 5 different types of air in the body, that is functions of the body. The next element is ether. The ether is that I can speak and you can hear me. Ether is the element that's in the body that you'll be able to hear that sound. The ether is represented by sound. So that the body consists of these five gross elements. And then there are 3 subtle elements, which is mind, intelligence, and possible. Yeah. And there are 5 working senses. Voice, I'm speaking as you can hear me, or tongue, represented by tongue. Leg, our senses, working senses. You can walk, you can go to different places. Hands, you can do different activities with the hands. And the anus, as evacuating, and genital. So these are the 5 working senses. Now there are 5 knowledge acquiring senses, which is eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. There are 5 knowledge acquiring senses. These senses acquire knowledge. The eyes, I can see what's the color, what's the different things. I can see you. I can see different things. With the ears, you can hear the sound. Nose, smell, touch, and skin. Tongue and skin. Now, there are 5 sense objects, which is smell, that is received through a nose. Taste, that is received through a tongue. A form, that is perceived by eyes. Touch, that's perceived by the skin. And the sound, that is received through the ears. So these are the sense objects. So these consist of 24 elements. Now 25th element is, now these are the 24 is all material elements. This material, these elements consist, in fact, not only our body, this also consists of the whole creation, material creation, consists of all these 24 elements. Then the 25th element is soul, which now is spiritual. Soul is spiritual, it's eternal. It is not material, as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport. And the 26th element, it's not element as such, but it also comes into this Sankhya thing. This is super soul. That's Paramatma, which is God. And also then the spiritual world, Krishna's activities, and this all come into a spiritual part of it. So all this consists and makes the philosophy of Sankhya. Description, very minute detail to very macro detail to universal creation. So this consists of the Sankhya philosophy. Whereas Lord Kapila has come. In the next sloka, he describes why he's come. That because this knowledge has been lost, and he's coming to reestablish this knowledge. And so, as I mentioned, there's 2 types of knowledge. One is material, one is spiritual. Material knowledge, we know that everybody practically in this material world is the material knowledge basically means how to live. It limits, the knowledge limits up to the body. It does not consist or does not contain or does not anything with the soul or super soul, nothing. So all our material knowledge, all the education given nowadays, or everything is is known most of the time, most of the people in general, is based on the body. How to make the body comfortable, how to live longer, how to just anything that was related to the body. No knowledge is given about the spiritual or the soul or the spiritual wisdom. So this knowledge is two types, material and spiritual. And so anything that is related to a body is temporary, as Prabhupada mentions in Prabhupada. It is temporary. So no matter how much we make an endeavor, effort to make this place perfect, it is going to end when the body ends. So there's even, okay, we are in this material world, we have short life, but you can also, in the different sections of Veda, gives you an opportunity to actually go even make it more better by going into different planets. You can go up to the heavenly planets or different planets that you can live for a very long period of time. And the comforts of the bodily senses or the enjoyment is far superior than what we have in this world. But, again, it's a catch, is that you will have to come back. You will not have that situation forever. It's temporary. It is a temporary. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Nara. So no matter which planet you're traveling from top to bottom, you will have to come back and do things. So it's temporary. So now here is Lord has given why he comes into this world. We just had Sri Krishna Janmashtami. Lord comes. He gives 3 reasons why he comes. That Paritranaya Sadhuna Vinasaya Chaduskritam Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Yeah? So he comes Paritranaya Sadhuna to protect the devotees. Second reason, to Vinasaya Chaduskritam. So to destroy the demons of the morning. Third is to Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. So he comes to re-establish the principle of religion. So this is what he's saying. That this I take birth. Now he's come here, this Kapiladeva has come here to re-establish the Sankhya philosophy, or the way of religion. And when Lord appears, it's transcendental. Divyam. Janma karma chame divyam. Lord says, my appearance and disappearance, my activities, all divyam. Transcendental. What is this transcendental means? Transcendental means nothing out of this material world. It is all spiritual. It's beyond this material world. It's nothing. So when the Lord appears, he appeared in the four-handed form. He didn't just appear just like us. He comes with the four-handed forms. He's fully decorated. He's got a crown on the head. He's well dressed, and he can communicate. Immediately he takes birth, and he communicates to his parents. Do this, and he's talking to the parents. I don't think so any of us, when we are just born, we will do talking. What can't we do? We immediately cry. So the Lord, he comes, he instructs Devaki and Vasudeva, and makes an arrangement. He makes an arrangement for all the shackles to be opened. The guards fall asleep. He makes an arrangement for him to take him across to Jamuna from Mathura to Gokul, where the Gokul is other side of the river, and the Mathura is in the other side. So taking from one side of the river to the other side. And he makes all arrangements. That is the Lord's appearance. And even the mother Yamuna was flowing. It was this torrents of rain. It was flooding. The reason she was flooding was she wanted to actually touch the lotus feet of the Lord, because she knew the Lord is appearing, the Lord has come. So she floods, and then she takes that, touches the lotus feet of the Lord, and then she subsides. The whole river goes down, and the Vasudeva are able to take the Lord Krishna across and take to Gokul and bring Krishna back. So this is Lord. When the Lord appears, the demigods are praying. When we appear in the womb, I don't think any demigods are praying. We suffering. And when he's just about 7 days old, he can kill demons like Putana. Putana is a big witch, gigantic witch, and he's able to kill just 7 days old. And also, when he was just a month or so old, there's another demon comes, Sakatasura. He comes in the form of a ghost, and then Lord Krishna was under the cart, and he goes into a cart and he wants to make this cart heavy and then cross Krishna. But Lord Krishna immediately just kicks his leg like this, and then kills the whole demon. This is the Lord. And so on and so forth, so many demons, Dhenikasura, Bakasura, Aghasura, so many demons is killed. I don't think so any of us we could do such something. In 7 days, he was 7 years old, he takes the whole mountain, gigantic mountain to a little tiny finger, and he will lift and give the shelter to the whole Brajvasis. This is Lord, this is appears. But our Acharyas give a fourth reason why actually Lord comes. Not to do these things. These paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya. This can be done, Lord can do without even appearing there. Why does the Lord have to come? He can, if he wishes to kill a demon, he can just close the oxygen for 5 minutes. Who can survive without oxygen for 5 minutes? Lord has got that power. He's Swarat. He's fully independent. He can do anything. So if he wishes to kill the demons, he can just do it from distance. He doesn't have to come. So he can appear in a different from anywhere. He can come out from the nose of the Brahma. We just read from the earlier chapters that Lord Varaha appeared from the nostril of Brahma. Yeah? So he doesn't have to come from when he can appear from anywhere. He appears from the pillar. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, "Where is your God?" Prahlad Maharaj said, "He's everywhere." "Is he in your pillar?" "Yes." He takes a club and then smashes into a pillar. And who comes? Lord Nrsimhadev. Yeah? So imagine this scenario that Lord has to obey the order, the fulfilled, the word of a devotee. If Hiranyakashipu would say the God is in the floor, he would have to appear from the floor. But Prahlad Maharaj, he appeared from the pillar because he was directed to the pillar. So he can appear from anywhere. So the main reason Lord comes to this world is to give pleasure to the devotees. That is the prime reason. Our Acharya explained. This is the prime reason that the Lord comes, to give a pleasure to the devotees. To do all those things, killing demons, saving devotees, he can do it from distance. He's not coming. But he comes, he gives an opportunity to those devotees. There are different types of devotees who took part in Krishna's Leela. There are Municharis, those Rishis, when Lord Ramachandra came in the previous incarnation as Lord, the Rishis in the Dhammikaranya forest saw this beautiful form of the Lord Ramachandra. And these rishis desired, he was so captivating, this beautiful form of Lord Ramachandra, they desired to actually have a conjugal relationship with the Lord. When the Lord was requested by these rishis, the Lord said, not in this my incarnation, but when I come as Lord Krishna next millennium, then you will take part. And so these munis, they took birth as some of the gopis in Vrindavan, so they could take part in Krishna's Leela. There are another type of devotees or gopis, that is Shruticharis. They are the Veda personified. They also wanted to partake in the pastimes of the Lord. So they also took as some of the gopis in Vrindavan. There's another type of devotees who come, are the sadhana siddhas. Those devotees who actually perfected their devotional life, and they wanted to be part of Krishna's Leela. If we do perfect our devotion in this life, we are eligible to actually partake in Krishna's pastimes. Maybe in different universe, we are able to take part in. So those devotees are called sadhana siddhas. So they take part in Krishna's pastime. There's another type of devotees they also come, is nitya siddhas. Krishna brings those eternally perfected devotees like Sakhis, Asta Sakhis, Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka, all these are nitya siddhas. He brings Madhya Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, they are nitya siddhas. They come to take part. So Lord gives an opportunity to these devotees so this is the reason why the Lord comes, to give a pleasure to the devotees. And his birth is not like our birth. Our birth is not good. Not good at all. In fact, this will be one of these subject matter that Lord Kapila will, as part of this philosophy, Lord Kapila will describe his mother. And so I just want to read a few of those verses. What is our situation at birth? We have 4 types of miseries, like birth, death, old age, disease. So birth, I just want to read through what is our birth, how we take birth, what takes place every step of birth, as described by Lord Kapila Dev. I just want to read through a few some verses describing what is our situation, what is our condition when we take birth. This is the chapter entitled Movements of the Living Entities. The personality of God is said, under the supervision of the Supreme Lord, according to the results of work, the living entity, the soul, is made to enter into the womb of mother through the particle of male semen to assume a particular type of body. So this Lord Kapila is actually describing what takes place, how we go through the different stages, what happens when the soul or the living entity or us is put into taking birth. On the first night, the sperm and ovum mix. On the 5th night, the mixture ferments into a bubble. So now Lord is giving a description what happens from the time of conception. On the 10th night, it develops into a form like a plum. After that, it gradually turns into a lump of flesh or an egg, as this case may be. So when it refers to egg and flesh, it means that the birth is, if it's taken as a bird or reptiles, which comes from egg, or in the form of flesh, which is the human type of body. In the course of a month, the head is formed. So in 1 month, the head is formed. At the end of 2 months, the hand, feet, and other limbs take shape. By the end of 3 months, nails, fingers, toes, body, hair, bones, and skin appear. As do the organs of generation and other aptures of the body, namely eyes, nostril, ears, mouth, and anus. This is in the 4th month. Within 4 months from the date of conception, the 7 essential ingredients of the body, namely child, blood, flesh, fat, bone, marrow, semen, come into existence. At the end of the 5 months, hunger, thirst make themselves felt. At the end of the 6th month, the fetus enclosed by the omnium begins to move to the right side of the abdomen. Deriving the nutrition from the food and a drink taken by mother, the fetus grows and remains in an abominable residence of stool and urine, which is breeding place for all kinds of worms. Bitten again and again all over the body by the hungry worms, in the abdomen itself, the child suffers terrible agony. Because of this tenderness, his tenderness, he thus becomes unconscious moment after moment because of the terrible condition. Owing to the mother's eating bitter, pungent fruit stuff or food which is too salty or too sour, the body of the child incessantly suffers pain which are almost intolerable. Placed within the omnium or the cover outside of the intestines, the child remains lying on one side of the abdomen, his head turned towards his belly, his back and neck arched like a bow. The child thus remains just like a bird in a cage, without freedom of movement. At that time, if the child is fortunate, he can remember all troubles of the past 100 births and grieves wretchedly. What is the possibility of peace in mind in that condition? So imagine this, you remembering this is about, I think it's 7th month, 8 months. You're starting to remember the 100 lives, the suffering you have is given to that moment. Thus, endowed with the development of consciousness from the 7th month after this conception, the child is tossed downwards by the air and pressed an embryo during the week preceding delivery, like a worm born of the same filthy, abominable cavity. He cannot remain in one place. The living entity is a frightful condition of life, bound by the 7 layer of material ingredients, face, folded hand, leading to the Lord, who has put him into this condition. So this is our birth. This is what we have to go through. And this, now, it doesn't end here. So the birth, we have to take birth again and again. Imagine having to go through this. So Bhagavatam is teaching us to, let's not go through this cycle again. This is what Lord Kapila has come to teach us. This is what some philosophy, this is what this is. There are, of course, there's a lot of other topics entitled Lord Kapila will explain devotional service and the creation, etc., etc. This is one of the topics he gives in details. What takes place? What is our condition? We're suffering here in this material world. So now, His Divine Grace Prabhupada has so kind has made this possible for us to understand in why it's available. This knowledge is available to us to get out of this cycle of going birth, old age, disease, and so on and so forth. So I'd like to end here, so that if anybody has any questions or comments or corrections, please.
Sloka, here's the translation says freedom from the entanglement of unnecessary material desires. So are there any necessary material desires as well?
As I understand, the unnecessary material desire refers to that anything that is material, that is anything related to your body or your senses, your desire, which is just based on the material. So the desire which is outside of material level, material which is linking to the Lord or going to the spiritual or matter, spiritual, it is the different other desire. So two types of desire. Material desire, which is anything related to your senses and body, and the desire of the soul, which is to link or go to the spiritual world. As I understand, it is the desire of other type of desire.
From that, this one, how do we consider desires for eating?
Desire for
Eating, like I'm hungry. Is that a unnecessary desire?
Oh, no, man. The basic, the function of the body has to be maintained. See, the body is the vehicle, by medium, that is, we can attain the spiritual platform. If we don't have a body, we cannot attain that, the spiritual knowledge. So body is a by medium. Yes, it is the body is required. The body has got a requirement. It's like a machine. Car needs a fuel. Vehicle needs a fuel. So body requires food to maintain. You can do only devotional service when you are within this body, when you have a body. If you don't have a body, you don't have the chance to cultivate that spiritual knowledge or spiritual activities we can perform. Because the spiritual activities are required. It's an activity. It's something you got to perform. To perform, you require a body. So the body requires a maintenance. So if you have a desire to eat, yes, you are allowed to eat. You can eat. But there is certain food stuff you can eat, and not other food stuff. But yes, in order to, so eating is not wrong. It is right. The sleeping, you require to sleep. It is okay. If you eat too much or too little, you gotta have a balance. So the eating or any of the functionality of the body, it is okay to maintain. You gotta maintain. So you cannot stop saying, okay, I'll stop eating. But you require a body to do devotional service. So you have to maintain.
So we are talking about this vayu, prana vayu, apan vayu.
Yes.
So is there any control that the humans acquire to control these vayus? We have any control on this, or it is a kind of normal physiological functions that's automatic, it's involuntary, it's something that happens?
As I understand, it is part of the whole function of the body. It is there. because of these presence of these 5 different types of air, the body is able to function correctly. Does I understand? In Ashtanga Yoga, there is mention of how to control these different airs. In even Ayurveda, I mean, the disease condition is coming from like the imbalance of air, the mucus or the biles. So the air, there's a function. Through the yoga, you can control different the movements of the yoga, and also they understand these airs are required. Is needed to function as a body, as a understand.
So we can control through yoga.
Yes, but I personally don't know how it's done. I'm not a Ashtanga yogi. So I will not be able to give you how it is done, but it can be controlled.
And when you talk about the back to Godhead,
Yes.
what does it mean? Does it mean, as you are saying, that next life you will be eligible to go to Krishna Loka and take part in this? So what does it mean actually, become Nitya, Buddha, Nitya, what the situation is when you talk about the back to Godhead? Frequently the devotees use this word back to Godhead.
Yes. So this material world is temporary. Yes. So what we are, we originally belongs to spiritual world. Since we have this desire to lord it over this material or lord it over, we want to be independent of Krishna, we have come to this material world. So this material world is created for us to lower the nature, lord it over. You be the boss, you will be the supreme. That's what with the mentality we come. So now when we're referring to going back to God, it means we came from there, we need to go back where we belong. That is what it's referring to. So in order to go back, the only means to go back is by doing any devotion service. So the devotion service is the medium where we can actually go and return back home, back to God. So this is what I understand.
But that does mean that you take part in Krishna's pastimes.
Yes. And in fact, our acharyas explain that when we perfect in this lifetime, our devotional is so, we are eligible to take part in Krishna's pastimes in a different universe, maybe perhaps, where Krishna is performing these pastimes. And we can be a part there, and from there we can go back to God.
Okay, first we take part and then...
It could be, it could be that there's a different sign, they could go directly, or they can also take part into that pastime. That's what I understand.
Guru, I just started the class and Samkhya explaining nature and spirit. I just made me remember one of Prabhupada's sayings, knowledge is to understand nature and spirit and the control of both.
And the controller?
And the control of both.
Oh, the controller of both, yes. Which is super soul.
Yeah, 26.
Yeah, 26 is the super soul. Yes, so the 24 elements, which if you look at for sum total of the creation, which consists of these 24 elements, then the spirit soul, which is 25th, and then 26 is the super soul, which controls, super soul controls both matter and spirit. It's controller, which ultimately is Krishna.
Do you mind if we go back through the counting again? We've got the 5 elements,
Yeah.
the 5 working senses, 5 emergent senses, 3 subtle elements.
Yeah.
So it's 5 and 5 is 10, and 5 is 15, 3 is 18.
5 sense objects.
Yeah, for instance.
I know there's an
There's some-
argument about how to count.
Yeah, these ones I also was trying to make it 24/8. Can you get a Bhagavad Gita?
But I actually did lose count. So there are probably two questions there.
Yeah. I think Sri Prabhupada gives the different elements, these elements, in 13th chapter. Bhagavad Gita. See if I can find it. In verse number 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 to 7, you're right. In the purport.
Yeah. Which verse was it? 6 or 7?
6 to 7, they're both put together.
Yes. I think when the Lord is describing the fields of activities in chapter 13, Prabhupada gives just a synopsis of these elements in purport. So it says, first there are earth, water, fire, air, and ether. There are 5 great elements, Mahabhuta. These are called 5 great elements, Mahabhuta. Then there are false ego, intelligence, and unmanifested stage of 3 modes of material nature.
That's the
Yeah. Then there are 5 senses for acquiring knowledge: eyes, ears, nose, and tongue, and skin. And there are 5 working senses: voice, leg, hands, anus, and genital. And then above the senses there are mind, and which is within, and which is always sensed within. Therefore, including the mind, there are 11 senses altogether. And there are 5 objects of senses: smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. Now aggregate these 24 elements are called field activities. Read this one. Do you have questions, comments?
How this Hatha Yoga and these are the elements are linked with?
How?
Hatha Yoga, what are you talking about the yoga and this is linked with?
Your question is, what is the linkage between the Hatha Yoga and these elements? Hatha Yoga is generally, it's the process, it's the physical, there's 8 branches of the yoga system, which ultimately is all it's coming down to the purpose of is to control the body, control the mind, control the elements, and bring your mind and senses control and focus to the Paramatma. That is the ultimate goal of Hatha Yoga, is to realize there's a Paramatma within and control all your activities through the yoga system, and then focus that action to meditate on Paramatma. So these all elements are controlled through the yoga. I don't know how it's done. I'm not a real expert in mention, but that is the purpose of this Hatha Yoga. Yeah.
Can I just comment, Lord Kapila came to establish the relationship between these elements and devotional service. We just asked that person a while ago.
Okay. we'll end here. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai.